Hey guys, it's Kiki here. Welcome back to my channel. So today is a little bit different than normal. If you're new here, welcome. Normally I do a little bit more beauty related videos, but we bought a house in November and one of the items that we wanted to get done on renovations was the kitchen. So this is the first of maybe a series of what we're doing to the house. And so if you want to see what items we use, what our process was like, how long it took, then please stay tuned. Here is the before of the kitchen. So originally we weren't going to touch the kitchen. It had been done 10 years ago. The cabinets were in pretty darn good shape, but it wasn't what we would have picked for ourselves. The cabinets were a little bit dark. The backsplash had a lot of brown and beige in it, which are just not colors we like. But since we were home for quarantine, we decided to get started on it. So the first thing that we did was take off all of the cabinets, and we used a power drill and then set aside all of the screws in a bag in each cabinet so that we didn't lose track of them. The other thing that we did was, after taking off all of the screws, in the indents of the space we put a little bit of painter's tape in there and labeled it with a number so that when we were hanging back up we knew exactly where they went, and here's the picture that I kept on my phone to remember. We started with about a third of the kitchen since we didn't have much room to do the cabinets. So the first step we did is wash down all of the cabinets with a degreaser, and this just helps get anything off the cabinets so that they're ready to paint. For primer, we use this urethane acrylic by Insulax. This was recommended by the hardware store and by a friend that used it. And what this layer does is just helps bond the paint to the primer, and it allows you to skip the sanding step on the cabinets, which we much appreciated. And then the color we used was a Benjamin Moore Advanced in the color Solitude, which was very fitting considering this was a quarantine project. So after the primer dried for a day, we painted a layer of the paint the next day. And we had 36 cabinets in total that we painted a primer and 2 coats of paint on both the front and the back. So it was 216 coats total. This was by far my favorite part of the entire project. So we also found out that you can paint a backsplash. So we used that same primer and then did 2 coats of a high gloss white finish, and it covered right over the brown and beige tiles that were just not our style. And so this is the before. You can see how the tiles looked. We also wiped these down with a degreaser as well. And then this section is with the primer on there, so you can see it's kind of thin. And then that is with 1 coat of paint. And then over here we already have 2 coats of paint. So you can see they're all shiny and ready to go. Here is the day 2 progress. We have the cabinets have their second coat up top. The backsplash has its second coat. I'm so surprised how well this turned out. They look like mini subway tiles. And then these cabinets are on their first coat of paint, and the other ones over here have been primed. So we have all the cabinet doors off there upstairs being painted, but this is the day 2 progress. So that cabinet's done, but then we still have all of this to go. Oh my gosh. After 10 days of painting, we got all of the cabinets done and hung them back up according to where they're supposed to go based on that little chart I showed you at the beginning. And then I got these brush gold handles from Amazon and just had to drill another drill hole and then screw in the handles. So they gave me a little trouble at the beginning, but I finally got in a good groove. And then to match all of the gold handles, we decided to get a new gold sink faucet. This ended up being such a pain to install because the disposal that was under there was way too big. So this ended up taking us about an hour and a half, but I am so in love with how it turned out. So we went with the Delta Trinsic in the gold finish, and then we also got the matching soap dispenser to replace the water pick that was there. So in the middle of painting, after we had gotten the third set of cabinets back on, we ended up absolutely hating the color, and we couldn't figure out why. They looked like a bright powder blue. We were debating if we needed to go back and repaint everything, but somebody mentioned that the color of the wall behind it could be affecting it. We noticed it was more of a gray-green, and it was making the cabinets look powder blue. So once we changed it to an eggshell white, they looked so much better and like the color we had originally expected. And then we also changed out the light fixture, so there was an old brass fan in there, and we changed it out for a sleek modern light fixture. As a reminder, here is what it looked like before, and then after we finished it, It was so much brighter, lighter, airier. We just absolutely love being in here and cannot believe what a few coats of paint did. All in all, this project took us about 10 days to paint the cabinets and then a few extra days for the walls and the fixtures that we had to install. And as far as the materials needed, we already had the white gallon of paint that we used on the walls and paintbrushes. And then we had to purchase a quart of the primer and a gallon of the Solitude color. We also already had the high gloss paint that went on the Backsplash, but we had to buy the degreaser solution, and then the handles were from Amazon, as well as the light fixture that we swapped out from the fan, and then the matching one we got above the sink, as well as the sink faucet and the soap dispenser. And last but not least, my favorite part, which was the transition of the Backsplash with these white coats of paint to look like mini subway tiles. Alright guys, so that's it for the kitchen renovation. I hope you enjoyed the end results and maybe learned something about the process. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or learned something today. And if you want to see more in the future on some of the renovation series or beauty related content, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.